Wonderful topic. With my program, a little bit like conservatism, before I ever speak, they always run a disclaimer. They always say, well, this guy, they say it very eloquently, but they say, the thoughts and ideas that you're going to hear on this program do not reflect everybody under the moon. Kansas State University, Kansas Board of Regents, anyone at any place at any time that might get angry by anything this guy's about to say. And there's probably good reason for them to do that, because our show is a conservative talk show. We carry all the different political topics of the day. We debate people from Code Pink to the Westboro Baptist Church, anyone that will come in and have thoughtful debate on the different political issues of the day. So we get about a couple hundred emails a week, and about 70% of those emails are people saying, appreciate you going and delving into these subjects, looking at these issues, asking these questions. The other 30% want to see me swing from some tree or another, and their idea is, how dare you talk about this subject? How dare you challenge these things? And that you're a hater, you know, everything being a hater, a racist. And it's an issue of importance that I felt was necessary to write a book about. And Feeding Lions, the title itself is really talking about stepping out of your safety bubble. We're really trained in this world that you shouldn't have opinions that you project publicly that may be against somebody else. We're really told, hey, you know, let's not talk about religion, let's not talk about politics. Woe be the guy that talks about politics and religion at the same time. And because somewhere, someone may be offended for some reason. And so we call this moral relativism, and the active tool of moral relativism is political correctness. Moral relativism is actually the idea that there are no rights and wrongs in this world, that everything is a shade of gray, and that if it's right for you, then that's your right. And who am I, or who is anyone else to say that, that you're wrong? And the problem with having moral relativism is that the world is not all gray, but there are fundamental rights and wrongs in this country. And so we come to this impasse, and we've been taught for decades and decades and decades that we shouldn't step in and make people angry. And so here, when we come into a world like today with Barack Obama, we see things that we don't like as conservatives. When you bring up questions, whether it be questions of, does the man have a birth certificate, down to, is he going to raise my taxes, there's a machine already in place that comes out and attacks you. Now with Feeding Lions, we wanted to educate people about just what it is to be a conservative, and just what it is to be a liberal. Because again, in the world today, we're told that there's really no difference. If you look at Newsweek, the cover says we're all socialists. Well, isn't that dandy? I didn't know that. And someone woke me up and didn't give me the memo that I was a socialist. And so the idea is that there is no difference between them, and that's an absolute farce. In my opinion, and my angle from Feeding Lions is to say, look, this is a center-right nation. That is, the majority of people in this country adhere to conservative values. And if you doubt that, if you say, well, this can't be true, that's right. Look at every time the American people are allowed to vote on issues, whether it be traditional marriage or anything down the line, that overwhelmingly 80% plus vote conservative values. And when that happens, liberals run around with their heads spinning, say, how can it be? How can it be? The world's not the way I thought it was. But that is reality. The problem is, for conservatives, and we lay conservatives under the simple tenets of God, family, country. Another issue. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about me, and I'm sure that if you've attended many classes, and if you've attended very much diversity of classes, then you have probably seen the liberalism that runs rampant in academia. Whether it's a teacher telling you that Michael Moore is a legitimate research source, or that Ronald Reagan is the devil incarnate, there's probably some time or another you've wanted to say, maybe that's not right, you know, but haven't done it. And feel free to laugh. This is all for fun. But humor is the tool by which Feeding Lions is written. Heartland humor, because there's no way we can address these confrontational issues. And as a conservative, I'm naturally humorous. I find the optimistic side, but we use a lot of humor in it. And I admit sometimes liberals may not be chuckling along, but we hope that they do a little bit. But you've probably been in class and you've wanted to say something else. You wanted to say it, but you haven't, because you don't want to be punished, or you don't know what your other classmates are going to say, or you just don't want to get on the wrong foot. And you may do that at your work. You may do that with your girlfriend. You may do that in your carpool, or whatever. We find that throughout the culture. And that is part of political correctness. That is part of what has been evasive in this culture. It has also been a part of how someone like Barack Obama becomes president. You know, a lot of conservatives, liberals first are telling us today that conservatism is dead. Obviously it's dead. The days of Reagan are gone. It's all over, or Barack Obama couldn't become president. And they'll bring that argument aggressively. And in Feeding Lions, we give articulation to a lot of different arguments. Because again, we're looking to speak to the heart of America, regular everyday people, moms and dads, and college students, and to give them some debating points. Most of the time when you're growing up, if you're not an old dog like me, if you didn't live through the Carter and Ford administration and Reagan administration, if you're living today in what we call the Obama nation, then you're being taught that reality is a certain way. And part of that is that conservatism is dead. And that we need to have a new age where we think like Obama. And that is a farce. But most people don't have an argument to take into that battle. There's a fundamental difference we find between conservatives and liberals. And we lay out where the battle is. And now, you come to the Republican meeting like this, and I start out every one of them by telling you that Republican, Democrat signifiers don't matter. They don't mean squat. Every time I say that, the people that brought me there say, hey, what the heck, we brought you in, what are you doing? What I am saying is the importance and the battle being fought today, and the implementations of laws and edicts that come into your life and tell you how to live, are based on a philosophy being implemented by people that take a certain philosophy and implement it into everything they see. The battle today is between conservative and liberal ideals. That is the battle. And so we get confused quite often and say, well, I just need to find the Republican and vote for him. No matter who he is. If you've got an R there, or I'm going to just shun the Democrat because that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. And that is tricky business. Now, I have been a lifelong Republican. I've voted Republican my whole life. Why? Because the Republican Party has been and still is the tent by which conservative values are most often found. So I'm not saying, oh, we need to just make a third party or something like that. I don't go down that road. What I am saying is there are truly rhinos, Republican and named candidates out there, people that want to, for whatever purpose meets their needs, fall under that banner and say, oh yeah, I'm a conservative. And I think that's tricky business. And if we look historically at the Democrat Party, the Democrats of the day are not the Democrats of the 30s, 40s, or 50s either. And so I say that we find an ideology between conservatism and liberalism. So, if that's the case, and if you can go with me that far, then we say, what is conservatism and liberalism? Well, we lay it out here very simple, and liberals will tell you, oh, it's a very, very complex situation. Matter of fact, everything in life is very, very complex. Matter of fact, it's so very complex that you don't even need to try to figure it out. We'll tell you, because we've been working on it. Now, the fact of the matter, it's not. And many things in life, many complex things, I'm not saying there's no complexity in life, but many things are pretty simple. When we look at conservatives, we can hang the issues, and there are many, many. Abortion, border security, taxation, war on terror, all these things we see, we can lay them off the tenets of God, family, country. So these are the main elements of conservatism. All these issues, taxation, they can be hung off of those three main tenets. And these tenets fall in diametric opposition to the modern day liberal, what we call the modern day liberal. Conservatives today believe in a God, a higher power. Now, it may not be the Baptist God, it may not be the Presbyterian God, and our Constitution was made by people that believed in that and said we're not going to have one God. But it's never been freedom from religion. It's been freedom of one state religion forced down upon you. When we look at that, we see a diametric opposition. We see the liberals today, and you only have to go as far as looking at Nancy Pelosi and the heads of the Democrat Party, Barack Obama.